You want to evaluate and find out which one you want to be with. So if you're in love with two guys, date them both, but just date them. You know, you don't want to become that person.
I kinda like you.
All right, let's see if it works this time. Oh my God. Okay, this has been a challenge because, see, I'm using a program called OBS. For those of you that are YouTubers, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And to get everything balanced just right, I forgot to put the audio input capture for this microphone. So my last video, I was talking up a storm, making a great point, I think, and yeah, you didn't hear any of it. So hopefully this time you can hear everything and everything is good and we can try this again. Probably lost half my audience that would have listened to it because frankly they're probably tired of looking at my ugly face. On to the show. Okay, so what happens when you love two people at once? A friend of mine last night was talking to her and I was telling her about the show, and she was like, yeah, I caught the show. It was awesome. I want you to do more of them. I was like, awesome. And she said, I got a question for you. Maybe you could do a show on it. And I was like, what you got? And she said, what happens when you love two people at once? She's in a relationship, and, well, she's dating somebody. And I'll get to all that in a second. But she's dating somebody, and she met this other guy, and she's attracted to him. Now, there's a big difference between being attracted to somebody and being in love with somebody, obviously. I'm not talking about when you're crushing on two people at once or you like two people at once. I'm talking about when you're in love with two people at one time, like hardcore head over heels in love. What do you do with that? I mean, that's hell. You can't decide between the two. But here's the thing, you kind of have to. Now, there are different facets of relationships, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know, but maybe I might enlighten you a little bit as to how I see it. And it's just my opinion. You can do with it what you will. If you're dating somebody, and unfortunately in today's day and age, when you're dating, you're hooking up. I mean, pretty much after the third date, it's usually a 3-date rule. You're hooking up. So you're intimate. Whether or not you're exclusive, that's a whole different thing. But at least you're with each other. The best thing to do in a situation where you are dating somebody, the ideal way to date somebody is to date them. Just like the word says, go on dates. Go out to movies, the park, dinner, the ballet, if that's what you're into, ballroom dancing, if that's what you're into, whatever. Go out, have fun with each other, become friends, get to know each other. And the reason I say date and not just hook up is because if you're looking for love, now if you're looking just to have fun and you're playing the field and you're not ready for a commitment, you're not going after that, you just want to go have fun, God love you, do whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. I don't judge anybody. But if you're looking for the one you're going to settle down with, the one that you're going to have that fairy tale wedding with that you've been dreaming about your whole life, or the goth wedding with the axe murderer minister, which is my personal favorite. I like that one. No matter what you want out of the end game of all of this, if it's something that's going to be permanent or you want to be permanent, then you got to go through certain steps to get there, because you can't take shortcuts. You take shortcuts, you're going to hook up with the wrong person, especially if you're a female. He's going to end up being a monster or doesn't care about you, or the next time you get in a car accident, he's stealing your Vicodin. Or if you're a guy, you're going to end up with, well, They call them psychos for a reason, right? I mean, nobody wants that. You don't want to find out she's severely bipolar, and nothing against bipolar people, but bipolar people are difficult to deal with. I mean, they even admit that. I have one of my best friends. She knows she's bipolar, and she knows she's difficult to deal with. But you don't want to find that out after you're together, or worse, after you're married. And that's a problem with relationships. Relationships, getting into a relationship has to be an audition. Just like you would audition for my film people that make films with me, you'll understand what that means. It has to be an audition. You have to audition people. You have to find out who's best for the part of playing your significant other. So if you're in love with two people, you need to decide which one you want to be with. How do you do that? You evaluate. Let's say over here you're a female. Let's say you got Brian over here, and Brian's conservative. He goes to church. He loves his family. He loves his dog. And then you got John over here, and John is fun-loving. He's funny. He cracks you up. Oh my God, he's hysterical. He's like, wow, he's best friend material. Like, you can't get enough of him. You're cracking up when you're around him. Your sides hurt. The one that would make you the happiest. You would think John would be the one that would rock your world. And he's going to be fun and funny. I'm a funny guy, I've been told. Not on here. I don't tend to make too many jokes on here because I want to take this seriously. But I've been told I'm pretty funny. Even my jokes get old after a while. So don't base your entire future on a guy that's funny. Because eventually, it's just not going to be that funny anymore. Now, the guy that's conservative, he may not be into the same things you're into. They say opposites attract. That's true. But I like similarities. I like to have something in common. I don't want to go watch a horror movie by myself because my girl isn't into it. That's just me. I don't want to go eat Indian food when I'd rather be eating Mexican or pizza or steak. I tend in relationships to do what she wants to do because I'm all about making her happy. And we'll get into the relationship dynamic in a future episode. My philosophy is I'm number one. I want to be happy. You want to make yourself happy, right? Everybody wants to be happy. I'll bet you there isn't one person in this entire chat room that will sit there and say that they don't want to be happy. And if you say that, you need to have that looked at. Most people want to be happy. But I want to be happy. What makes me happy? What makes number one happy? Making number two happy. As long as number two is happy, I'm happy. And there's many ways to say that. I mean, I've heard the expression of mom ain't happy, nobody's happy, happy wife, happy life. You've got to find that person that will make you that happy. Because if you're all about the other person's happiness and that person is all about your happiness, you're going to be happy. Now, what's it going to take to do that? It's going to take patience. I told you yesterday in my last video that you have to be patient. You've got to take your time. It's not a race. It's not a rush. It's a marathon. It's going to take time. If you date a guy, and the guys are going to hate me for saying this, if you date a guy for 6-8 weeks and all he's ever had is a kiss, and he's still there, that's a good guy. Because let me tell you, I'm a guy. I don't lie to you guys, okay? I'm a guy. If I'm only into it to get some, if I see a girl and she's hot and I want to hook up, if I'm just in it for the hookup, I ain't waiting 6-8 weeks. I'm on to the next. The other way you could tell is how he behaves when he is dating you. And that's the purpose of dating. You want to see consistency. You want to go Like I told you yesterday, you want to go after the one that's consistent. It is already raining from that hurricane. Oh, and if you're in the path of this storm, Dorian, I wish you the best. I'm praying for you. Keeping me in your thought, or keeping you in my thoughts because this is going to be nasty. So batten down the hatches and be ready for that because it's going to get ugly. It's already starting to rain here. But what I was saying was, you need to be patient. You need to evaluate that when you're dating, you need to look at that person, and that's the point of dating, to find out what you really want. And I know people say, well, when you're dating someone, you shouldn't date anybody else. I don't believe that. If you're not intimate with that person, if you haven't sat down and said, we're going to be exclusive, I want to be exclusive, I don't want to see anybody else, I don't want you seeing anybody else, it's just going to be me and you. If you have made that agreement, then you don't need to date anybody else. You're with that person, you give it a shot, you see where it goes. But if you're just dating, you're going out for coffee, you're going out for dinner, you can date whoever you want. Play the field, find out, see what's out there. It's like going to shopping on Amazon. Most people don't go to Amazon unless you know exactly what you want. Most people will scroll through it. They'll look at something, they'll see what it's all about, look at the reviews, look at different things that's going on. Then they'll look at another item and maybe put that one in their wish list because they want to go back to that later. And then they'll go and look at another item, and then they'll go back up to the first item and they'll check that out again. They'll eventually find out which one that they want to buy. Same thing with dating. Same thing with dating. You want to evaluate and find out which one you want to be with. So if you're in love with two guys, date them both. But just date them. You don't want to become that person. You know what I mean? Date them. Figure it out. And while you're dating, like I said, evaluate. If he's constantly on his phone and he's texting and he's talking to other people while he's on a date with you, run. If it says active now on his Facebook page and you're texting him and he's not answering your texts, who's he talking to? If you start having those questions early in the relationship, before it's even a relationship, run. He could be talking to his mom or his brother or his work. That's very possible. I'm not saying that everybody that's active now is talking to somebody else, but you don't know. You don't know. Like I told you yesterday, love is a gamble, and you've got to do the best you can with what you have in front of you. But take the time to evaluate and be patient. Now, I don't throw religion in anybody's faces. I'm not one to do that. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. I don't judge anybody. You want to believe in God, you want to believe in the flying spaghetti monster or the Easter bunny. I don't care what you believe. But there is wisdom in the ancient writings. There is wisdom in the things that were written before. That these scholars and these ancient people, they had some wisdom and they wrote some words. And one of the things was the Apostle Paul, who said, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, etc., etc. You can look it up for yourself. It ends on love never fails. And if you find true love, it's never going to fail. So if you love two people, love them both. But take some time and look at it, figure it out. Because at the end of the day, if you do that, if you do the work, you don't try to take shortcuts, and you do the work. Now, people fall in love instantly. I'm not even talking about love at first sight. Okay? I mean, you go to the grocery store and put your hand on a cantaloupe at the same time a girl puts her hand on a cantaloupe, or vice versa, and you look up at each other and there's this shimmering light and oh, angels are singing, and it's, oh my God, where have you been my whole life? I'm not talking about that. Okay? I'm not. That's a whole different thing. And that's like, you've got to have it. You've got to be with that person. It's instant chemistry. It's like, boom, I've been there. I've had that instant chemistry. You can't get enough of each other. You want to be around each other 24/7. Be careful you don't burn out, though. That does happen. But if you take your time, even in that situation, love at first sight, bam, oh my God, we've got to be together. You can't get enough of each other. It's kiss, kiss, hug, hug. Oh my God. Take a minute to go, okay, let's back off a little bit. Let's evaluate the situation. Let's figure out what we're going to do. If you do your work, you'll figure out which one you want. And when you do, you'll be happier for it. Well, I think I've covered everything. I've got a few viewers. I don't know if nobody's made any comments. I don't know if you have any questions, but if you do, hit me up in private and I will possibly do a future show about it like I did this one. But until next time, I'm going to do these every morning about 10 o'clock. I know I'm late today because I had so many catastrophes with this thing and I finally figured it out. So next time I'll be on point. I'll see you tomorrow if I have power. And just be good to each other and find your bliss. I'm Stephen Bastian. This is The Relationship Life. Peace.